For the past several years, I've been on a mission to get schools to stop centering debate as the primary and sometimes the only way that students engage with important ideas. I've written about this in educational magazines, I've spoken at conferences, I've led workshops on facilitation skills for teachers, and I've even launched dialogue programs in schools to offer a real alternative to debate-centered discussion. And when I say debate culture, I don't just mean classroom debates or debate club, although that's certainly part of it. But I mean the deeper assumption that the purpose of engaging with ideas is to persuade. You see it in how we teach students to write essays, compete for the best grade, or pitch ideas convincingly in a presentation. Over and over, students are trained not just to think, but to win. And that directly reinforces debate culture. Now, to be clear, I don't think persuasion is a useless skill, okay? I'm not arguing that we should stop teaching it altogether. But when persuasion becomes the dominant mode of engagement, I think we've sort of lost the plot of education. We need more opportunities for students to question how they know what they know, to sit with uncertainty, to explore ideas collaboratively without the immediate pressure to defend them. And that's where dialogue comes in. Not only is dialogue powerful in its own right, but it also makes us far more resilient to the distortions of debate culture. So in this video, I want to explain why the debate culture that we're living in destroys critical thinking, and why schools who are preparing young people to engage with the world of today have a crucial role to play in expanding what engagement looks like through dialogue. So first reason why it's harmful is debate assumes that the best way to explore an idea is through opposition. The logic is that by making those two sides face off, somehow all of the relevant information will emerge. But that's at best really incomplete, and at worst really dangerous, because when you reduce an idea to two opposing sides, everything that doesn't fit neatly into either camp gets ignored. So over time, we start believing that the extremes are the whole picture. That also leaves us very vulnerable to manipulation, because it means that those who stand to benefit from that nuance being erased are going to be very invested in pushing that binary framing. 2, debate assumes that every issue has two sides. We've all heard this trope a million times, right? That there are always two sides to every story. I mean, it's even often a sign of being rational and fair-minded and being open to different perspectives. The problem is that many issues don't have two sides, right? They might have 3 or 4 or 10. And then conversely, some issues really only have one. Forcing them into a two-sided structure actually inflates other positions as if they're equally valid, even if they aren't. Deborah Tannen, in her book The Argument Culture, points out how this compulsion to always present both sides of an issue has led to the propagation of some really harmful ideas. For example, it's inflated Holocaust denialism and climate denialism in the media. So fringe or harmful views can get platformed just to satisfy that illusion of balance. In the media, we see this happen a lot, right? A debate being platformed just because two sides of an issue have been identified and then becomes really hotly debated, even though, this issue was never a thing to begin with. Third big danger is that debate trains us to listen for flaws in the other person's argument, not for insight. Debate doesn't teach us to listen to learn, it teaches us to listen to win. So we should always be listening to arguments for weaknesses or contradictions or things about them that we can take and then strategically use so that it supports our idea. You always need to be thinking, what's wrong with this, not what could I take from this? The thing is that debate frames any discussion as ultimately having winners and losers, and no one wants to be a loser. 4 is that debate assumes that the idea that wins is the best idea, just like it assumes that the best idea is going to be the idea that wins. This is the classic marketplace of ideas logic, right? Let ideas compete, and then naturally the strongest one will rise to the top. But that marketplace is not neutral. Oh boy, is it not neutral. Some ideas have institutional power behind them, amplifying them, and then other ideas have institutional power against them, actively silencing them. And treating winning as equivalent to best obscures these inequalities. And the problem is that debate is framed as a neutral tool to discuss ideas, which is so misleading. And then the final reason that I think debate destroys critical thinking is that it shifts our focus from substance to spectacle. This is more obvious than ever today, right? After a political debate where supposedly the very ideas that are shaping our future are being discussed, what do we talk about? We don't talk about those ideas. We talk about who was the winner of the debate? Who scored the best zinger and delivered the best punchline? Debates prioritize victory over any sort of understanding, and the commentary very much follows that logic. So we've seen 5 ways in which debate culture can be harmful. I think that schools have an urgent responsibility to talk about the dangers of this kind of discourse with their students. I think that an incredible way that schools can fight back against debate culture is to have a dialogue club or some sort of intentional dialogic learning experience in their curriculum. If you're also trying to fight back against debate culture and you want to learn more about dialogue facilitation, make sure to check out my course down below. For the very first time, I'm starting a pilot program with only 5 individuals who are serious about wanting to start a dialogue group where they are. So if that's you, I hope that you jump on this opportunity. You can book a call with me. You can send me a message. I'd love to connect. If you're not ready to commit to a course, then I also have some great resources that you can use to get started. Pretty much my entire channel, but specifically you can watch this video where I walk you through my lesson plan to explore a divisive topic in the classroom in a way that promotes dialogue over debate. I've also created a guide that helps you take conversations from debate to dialogue, and I've already heard from a few teachers that this guide was really helpful for them. So definitely download your copy of the guide if this sounds interesting to you. With all of that said, I will see you very soon, and thank you for watching. Bye!